Now, before we move on with the story, you have to ask yourself one question. Did I remember to subscribe? Well, did you? Whew, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Now, where were we? Ah, yes, the Wild West of AI. Let's see what our cowboy's up to. All right. Enough with the gunshots. We get it. It's the Wild West. Now, let's just focus on the AI part, shall we?
I hear you heading up to see old Arnold Irving. What you got cooking this time, Jack?
Well, Billy Bob, I'm aiming to turn old Betsy here into a self-riding wonder. Now, Arnold's got some mighty fine ideas, but we're missing one important ingredient: data.
Data? Are you calling me some kind of vermin? I'll have you know my mama named me Billy Bob, not Data.
Now, easy there, Billy Bob. Data ain't a name. It's like the food for them AI brains. Without it, they're just a bunch of fancy gears and wires, no smarter than a tin can. And I heard there are folks mining for data up in the mountains. And they're saying it's more valuable than gold these days. So, I reckon I'll be heading that way next.
Data mining, huh? Sounds mighty dangerous. You sure you're up for it?
Well, danger's my middle name, Billy Bob.
And I always thought it was Cletus.
Besides, ain't nothing gonna stop me from giving Betsy the upgrade she deserves.
Turns out data mining in the Wild West ain't exactly like panning for gold. It's more like searching for a needle in a haystack, blindfolded. Word had spread faster than a wildfire that data was the new gold, and every Tom, Dick, and Harriet with a shovel was heading for the hills.
Yeehaw! I'm getting some data!
And Jack was no different. Clueless as a newborn calf in a blizzard. But luckily his old pal Arnold had given him a little tip. Keep an eye out for glowing hexagons. Apparently that's what raw, unprocessed data looks like in these parts. Go figure, huh? Now Jack here has been at it for hours, probably regretting every life choice that led him here. You know that feeling when you're trying to untangle your earphones and it just keeps getting worse. Yeah, that's Jack right now. All this for some glowing hexagons. I mean, who even comes up with this stuff? And then suddenly, a piece of data shined from the rocks. And remember, in this time and age, this is like finding a UFO in your backyard. But what a discovery it must be to find something so simple and yet so important. It's like Jack just invented sliced bread, except this bread glows and might not be the best side dish with your baked beans. But hey, it's just another day in the Wild West. Apparently, the unwritten rule of the Old West is, if you find something shiny, you'd better bite it to check if it's real. Makes me wonder, what does data taste like? Spicy? Sweet? Let me know your best guess in the comments. One thing is finding one piece of data, but what can you do with a lot of data? This is where we need our good friend Four Eyes Arnold. It's like Jack stumbled upon the world's biggest puzzle, and Arnold's the only one with the rule book. Now, I understand if you're wondering, who is this Arnold Irving? Well, when Arnold isn't busy collecting hexagons for his experiments, let's just say he's a rather outgoing person, shall we? And quite the ladies' man. But for our story, we'll leave his romantic life out of it, even though I'm sure it must be quite fascinating.
I've got your data.
Otto is our hexagon-hoarding mad scientist, and you will learn a lot more about him when we release our part 2 of this story. You'll also discover what Arnold and Jack are up to with those glowing hexagons. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment with your best Wild West pickup line. You know, just to help old Arnold out. I'm pretty sure he could use a tip or two. Stay tuned for part 2 of the Wild West of AI, and maybe we'll find out if a horse can really learn to code. Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. I guess that's one less typo on the internet.